We're back again with Mr. Roger Reeves.
I thought I was going to have to shoot a husband-in-law.
What was the one time where you said, yeah, I really want to kill this guy?
This idiot had a Spanish passport, but he gave him his Colombian passport, and he'd been in prison in Colombia. I almost quit.
So there's a big puddle of cocaine water on
No,
this shit.
it's the whole swimming pool white. I dove down in that cocaine water. That was the highest I've ever been in my life. I'm telling you, I was just chewing my tongue. I couldn't even talk anymore. I'm toting the cocaine up and putting it up high enough to the tide that's coming in. And I have sandals on, and one of them comes off, and it takes the skin off of my feet. It's bleeding. I'm in Shark's Bay, dangling a bloody foot. A fin cut around me, not that high up out of the water. When they found out who I was and I'd escaped from 5 prisons, they come and arrested me with a helicopter hanging overhead with a .50 caliber.
Really?
And they put me in a place that looked like the silence of the night.
You had the ex-president of the United States of America write a letter to our Attorney General to ask for a favor to get you home.
Yeah, President Carter wrote a letter to Attorney General of Australia. I'd appreciate if you consider my friend and neighbor Roger Reeves for parole.
No.
I know his brother and I know his son. Well, I knew him a long time we was boys.
Like, I don't even know. I'm speechless for this one. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Unbreakable Podcast. We're back again with Mr. Roger Reeves, former international drug trafficker, multiple countries, has escaped from prison, has been shot at, has got more stories than we could even cover in 3 days being here together. We did a fantastic intro at the start. We just had the pleasure of sitting down with Roger's beautiful wife, Mari. We've got some fantastic stories out of this, but with our most popular guest, what we do when we do a banger podcast, we take audience questions. So what we're going to do today, yesterday's podcast was more of a informal narrative where we've kind of walked through Roger's life, some of the highlights and the lowlights. Today, what we're going to do is cover a little bit about what you guys have asked in terms of what you want to know, what Roger's done with his life story, and it's going to be a little more Q&A focused, but we've cherry-picked the best ones. So I think what you guys are going to get from this podcast is a little deeper look behind the scenes, and some of these questions have been geared to ask Roger around stories that haven't been told and extract facts that you guys might not know. So we're going to kind of gear it that way. As always, we're going to have fun with it, keep it informal and relaxed. Roger and I have got a great rapport at the moment. This is pretty easy for us, but without further ado, Roger, welcome back to the podcast. How are you feeling?
Thank you. I'm doing great. Yeah, ready for it.
I always wonder if I butcher those intros, but who knows? I don't know. But when people leave negative comments, I'm like, get your own fucking podcast. So, anyways, editors, beep out my swear word. All right. So welcome back.
Thank you.
Great chat yesterday. That was fantastic. And thank you for recommend having your lovely wife on. That was, for me, was like a surprise movie that you just gave me. Like, that was fantastic. The love story, the ups and the downs, like, I'm actually speechless, man. Like, thank you for that. That was fantastic. That was beautiful.
I'm speechless that I came home after 33 years.
I mean, here you are, man. Listen, God's got other plans for you.
I thought I was going to have to shoot a husband-in-law.
If you were close enough, I'd reach over for a fist bump, but that was the best thing I've ever heard. Actually, do you know what? Let's segue from that, because that was one of the questions that we got in the Q&A that I've got on my run sheet over here. One of the audience members said, fortunately there wasn't anyone for you to come back and kill. That's fantastic. The love story continues. But one of the questions was, I mean, if we're going to cover all the times you'd been flipped on or rolled on or rattled on, we'd be here all day, as if we're covering all the prison stints. One of the questions was, what was the worst time that you got ratted on, like where it kind of like hit you the most? And what was the one time where you said, yeah, I really want to kill this guy?
It was down in Australia.
Yeah, we got a few rats down under. We do have a little bit of a rat infest. Oh, yeah, we do call them. They must have.
We had some barking dogs down there, I'm telling you.
Yeah, I know a lot of snakes,
plastic
dogs, and
outlaws
rats.
and barking dogs, I declare.
So tell me, so there's an Australian rat. Tell me about that.
Well, I just have to tell you the whole Australian deal then.
Do you want to do that?
I might as well.
Let's do it.
I don't think I've ever told it.
Can I tell you as well? I'm so glad that you brought that up, because for me, we've got a big Australian audience base, and I think that's one of the most undercovered parts of your story. So that was my next one. And the fact that you've brought it up that's telling the universe that we're here to hear that story. So please take me through the Australian story. I am here for it.
Okay. I'd broken out of a prison in Germany, and I'd made my way back to the United States. And I wasn't doing so well. I was working out on a farm, and my children run together and had a head on a dirt road, and almost got killed in hospitals and cars torn up. And I was staying out on the farm, and a car drove up one evening late, with 2 Colombians in it, and introduced themselves and told them who they was with, and Fernando de la Esparella and Carlos, whatever his name was.
And this was to your house in
Georgia.
Georgia, okay.
And they wanted to know if I would take a ton of cocaine to Australia.
So for those that don't know, that's 1,000 kilograms of
Yes, it is.
Colombian cocaine.
And so I said, well, what's the deal? And so the person that had sent them knew that I had a sailboat. I had a 45-foot sailboat, pretty nice one. And so they told me that what it was selling for in Australia, and that they'd give me $20 million if I would take it down. And I said, of course I'll take it down. So I went to get my boat ready, and it being a sailboat, and so I told them, I said, now, can you supply me, have some boat come off the coast of Brazil and Argentina, so if I get something broke or I need some food, some fresh things, I'm going by myself with a sailboat. And they said, oh, it might break. And I said, of course it might break. It's a sailboat. It's not a bulldozer. I mean, the bulldozers break. Going that far, I said, we don't know how far it was, 16,000 miles. It's a long way to go. So they come back, they talked to their boss, said, what won't break? I said, well, the best thing I can think of is these offshore supply vessels. They have 2 engines and 2 generators, and everything is split down the middle just like an airplane. And if this one quits, this one keeps going. And when they get 40 years old, they sell for scrap iron, and they're just as good as better than some of the new boats. But the insurance won't let them go out to the platforms. So they said, oh, what can you get one? Sure, I can get one. And I said, but I've got this boat here. And they said, oh, we'll buy that. So, okay, how much is that? I said, $500,000 to get one and get it some fuel.
What was the boat called again?
An offshore supply vessel.
Offshore supply
one takes
vessel.
the drilling rigs and the pipes and the people back and forth to the offshore rigs. There's, I don't know, there might be 1,000 offshore rigs off of the coast of Louisiana and out from Mobile, Alabama, almost to Mexico. It's just seeded out there. You got to be careful.
Which seems logical because all these things need supplies, so it's probably going to be more likely to blend in as like a back and forth sort of boat. Is that correct?
I didn't care. I mean,
you just wanted something that works.
Nobody's going to see you anyway.
Okay, gotcha.
I just want something that would run. Okay. Well, that was like taking a bulldozer around the world. I don't how much fuel it took. Just
Okay,
gotcha. Anyway, I went down and got the boat and took off, and I got a fellow, Joel Parrish. He's a famous, you can Google him, he's a really famous ball player. They had a sign big as this building, Douglas, Georgia, home of Joel Parrish. He's running with his helmet. So anyhow, he got on there with me, and I was going to go with him till I had to refuel in Praia off of the coast of Africa. Yeah, we had a good time going across. And we got over there, and it was supposed to have a Spanish crew meet me. Well, there was one fellow, Carlos, got on the boat, and he wasn't copacetic. He got him a big pack of marijuana, and 3 of us, and so we left there, and I tried to get Joel to go home, and I said, well, when the boat comes out to load us. So this idiot had a Spanish passport, but he gave him his Colombian passport, and he'd been in prison in Colombia. I almost quit, but for $20 million.
So is this when they were loading up in Colombia?
No, we was going to load up in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean.
Okay,
we was going to load up closer to Africa. That boat was supposed to come out 50 miles from there. So I waited there in Praia for a week with this fella and him smoking his pot. So we take off and go out in the middle of the ocean, and I'm going up and down under the satellite like what you do, and I'm trolling about the speed of somebody doing long lines. And after about day 3, I'm burning up, I don't know how many thousand gallons a day, but that thing burns fuel. And I said, I'm throwing in the hat. You come there with your Colombian passport, and we're circling on the satellite. And on the way towards us, on the way out, I hadn't got going far when I met the supply vessel. It was an old wooden tuna trawler. It looked like it was Venezuelan.
Wait, the supply vessel that was going to receive the...
No, yeah, this was a boat that was bringing the cocaine out.
Right.
So we met by
Okay.
mistake. I mean, that's how close I missed a life sentence.
Right.
I was going to quit. I'm through with it. Enough went wrong already.
You met by mistake.
Yeah, I'm kicking doors down, and I don't like it. I like for things to open.
Well, that's how you've operated your whole life.
If it's just like go smooth, if it don't, something's telling you don't do it. Anyway, they pulled up side of us, and boy, they hooked one of their stanchions and they threw a cable across, and it snapped and knocked Joel's arm down. His arm swelled up. I thought it was broken. And they came across and stole everything they could. They opened my freezer and was taking food out. I mean, it was half-naked savages almost on that boat. Anyhow, they threw all the stuff, and some of it busted on the end, and oh, what a mess. And finally, I got rid of that crew, and we started off down through the middle of the ocean, and we stashed the cocaine in the rudder room. There's a rudder room big as a house under there. Big rudders come up, and I put chain binders around it. And over the whole reason I did that, there was just one small manhole cover, and there's a lot of barrels of oil. They're chained down in there. So we put that cocaine down in there, chained it down, and there's a switch that you turn on to get the water out to keep it dry. And we heading on down, and we got down about tip of Argentina somewhere, and the sea's getting a little rough. And the Colombian done going up. I can't trust him to set watch. I go up there and he's asleep on the little couch every time, and the plane's on autopilot. And one night, I'm cook. He can't cook nothing. Neither can Joel.
Is there anything this idiot could do?
Nobody could cook.
Could he tie his shoes or what?
I don't know what he could do, but he couldn't stand up because he was seasick, and he was miserable. And I didn't cook rice, and he threw his plate right over in the floor, slammed it down after with a big steak on it. And that left there about a week.
Should have put him at the bottom of the ocean and said he just fell off.
It crossed my mind.
Okay, gotcha. Great minds think alike, as they say.
So anyway, he was miserable, and he listened to his little music on one of those little things. And what I didn't know, I had 48 batteries, and I had it in the bag by the lifeboats, so that if I went overboard, I can talk to airplanes flying overhead, or I put it on the beeper. And he smoked. He used every one of them up completely and put it back in like it was new. So later on, when I needed it, there wasn't a battery anywhere. We'd have died if we'd have went down. And he turned the water on. We had only 600 gallons of clothes, and he's washing his clothes in a washer down there. I had to break all the lines and bust them and turn them off so he can't wash his clothes.
How long were you stuck with this idiot for?
77 days.
77 days. And just a quick one as well, and pull me up if you can't answer this, but do you know which organization approached you originally for this run?
I know it was just a person. It's a person, De La Vina. He's had his people. It wasn't. I don't know if it's any organization.
But that's what I'm saying. There was a Chinese wall, I assume, between him and his people, because,
no, it was somebody big in Medellin, and my fellow, the same fellow that hooked me up with Pablo and them, hooked me up with this fellow.
Right.
But he was the owner, and he sent his brother over.
Okay, but they'd have to be like, you can't just sit on a ton of cocaine and be split. They'd have to be big, right?
Well, not really. You can buy a ton of cocaine in Colombia for $2 million, $2,000 a kilo. Probably buy it. No, at that time I believe it was like less than $1,000 a kilo. So they only put up $1 million or less.
So
and now it's worth
for anyone watching this who has a spare million, probably it may seem attractive to buy a ton of cocaine in Colombia. We don't recommend that you do this because we're going to get into what happens at the end of the story. But
once the cocaine gets to town,
right,
it's worth $2,000 a kilo, so $2 million a ton. And once it gets offshore, it's $5 million a kilo. And about now, same thing as it was then.
No, you mean per ton?
Per ton, yes, $5,000 a kilo. So
yeah,
a ton
right,
is $5 million.
Well,
so that's what it should have been when we loaded up. That's about what somebody had paid or promised to pay if it made it.
Well, but do you know how much that costs in Australia now, today, a ton?
Yeah, $130 million.
No, it would be.
It's $130,000 a kilo down there. I was just checking on it.
No, it would be around a $250 million now.
But that's not wholesale.
No. I mean,
I'm
it'd
talking about
probably jump on it a little bit.
Wholesale off of the boat.
Yeah, probably roll around the hood and
That's
go through
$130,000,
some.
$150,000 a kilo.
Yeah,
US.
yeah.
So it'd be three. Yeah. So
I think
it's valuable.
I think per capita, it's got the highest demand in the world per head. Yeah.
It's probably got the highest police force too around it.
Mate, you can't take a piss in our country without police coming to arrest you. Gee, you can't stick your head out the window to check the weather without getting arrested. It's ridiculous. You need a fucking permit to use the bathroom. Sorry, I digress.
A prison guard make $150,000 a year. So you
Yeah,
can imagine
that's what
a
I'm
policeman
talking about. Yeah, we got a
They
few
got too
things
much
on
money.
with.
They send it off their oil to China.
Yeah, and here you are trying to do a community service for us, and we treat you like this.
Poor face.
Okay, so you're back.
We come on and
so you're on the boat with this idiot
So
Colombian.
anyway, one morning, Carlos wakes me up. Senor, the boat's going in circles. What? The thing is going big circles. The autopilot's hung him. I try to turn it one way, it go completely the other or not. So I can't imagine what. I start taking hydraulic lines apart in the front of the boat. I must have spent an hour or so, and it was sloppy. It was pretty high seas. And I got it back into the engine room. Everything was well all the way back from the autopilot back. I said, what the hell's the matter with this thing? So I saw water coming out of a pipe into the engine room, and I reached up, and it was salt water. And I said, oh, Lord, it just made me. It's coming from that tank where I had the cocaine hit.
Oh, shit.
So I went up there, and we moved those big, heavy drums of cocaine, oil off of it, and I opened that tank, and empty packages of cocaine papers start flying out. I had a heart attack. The Colombian, he passed out.
What do you mean?
Crapped his pants
What, from
and
stress?
went into fibrillation.
Really?
He vomited all over himself, yeah. He just knew his life was over. I thought, anyway, my friend Joel, I'd ask him, how's the rudder room? Dry as a bone. Well, he just flipped the switch, and nothing came out, and so he thought it would dry. But paint got over the intake, and that thing filled up with 25 foot wide and about 6 or 8 foot in the middle, and it come up, and it was full of white water. That cocaine had been busted all in that water.
No way.
And it's floating around in them big bales, 24 kilos, bouncing up, and the things in the top of it, where the boats went, they tearing it up.
Yeah.
Lord, I almost did have a heart attack. And
Just from the smell, or?
I finally got some big spot that was open, and we got most of it out, and there wasn't much of it that was busted. Maybe might have been 30 kilos that was lost, but that wasn't nothing compared to what I thought it was.
Right.
So
there's a big puddle of cocaine water on this ship.
No, it's the whole swimming pool white.
Could you imagine if there was a fish in there?
Pardon?
Imagine if there was a fish
I had
in
to
there.
get down in there now and stand with a 5-gallon bucket, and I'm dipping that water out because it won't go out no other way, and the boat's dead in the water. And I dip it, and then I can't lift my hands up anymore, and Joel gets down there, and I dump it out, and I'll step backwards over a board or something and hit, and boy, I hurt myself. Anyway, we dipped water all day long until we could get it down enough. And I saw that all the wires for the autopilot and all were just torn apart in 2 pieces apart from where a junction was there. Oh, Lord, I'll never get back that together. So finally, when it got low enough, I dove down in that cocaine water and to find the pipe that gets over, and I take just handfuls, a hatful of flakes, paint flakes that had come off that wall. They had painted it. Man, that thing that started pumping, I pumped it all out dry. And I was so high.
That's what I was about to ask you.
I was chewing my tongue.
I was about to ask, did you get high from the cocaine water?
Of course I did. I was the highest I've ever been in my life. I'm telling you, I was just chewing my tongue. I couldn't even talk anymore.
Can I ask you, do you reckon you're the only person that's had a swim in a cocaine swimming pool before?
I bet I am. I bet I don't want to do it again. And plus, it's just that boat turning up here, splashing.
Did you have scuba gear or did you have to hold your breath?
I just held my breath and dove down there and got it.
So you're accidentally swallowing Coke water and it's going up your nose.
It was all in my ears and everything. So I went and made some hot, stopped right then and went and made some hot coffee. And I did turn that water on and got a hot shower. And I cooled down enough and got me a bite to eat and went back out there. And I got under that thing and there was, I believe, 48 wires torn loose and hanging in that room. 48 wires. And now, some of them was color-coded and some of them weren't. Some of them was a little bit different size. And I had to take that thing and strip them back and put them together. It took me several hours. It worked perfect. What was the chances God was with me? I mean, 48 wires you got to put together on something you don't know nothing about, and it fit. It was just wonderful. So got that thing going again, and then we took the cocaine that was a lot of the packages was busted, and the cocaine had got wet and it was oozing out. And the floor to the dining room in that big boat was about 20 feet long, big table, and I put all that cocaine on the floor, and now it's seeping out of those bags and going on. And I'm walking around and I got so high again I couldn't walk from it in my feet.
Really?
I'm getting high. It's like putting it on your nose or whatever you got in your feet. It's the same thing. So I had to get me some shoes to get on to walk into cocaine. So I put all that together, and the Colombian, he's done. I had to take his clothes off and clean him and rub him up, and he almost. I mean, he thought he was going to die.
What from?
He just went into shock when he saw that his life's work or his whatever. He's there in charge of that cocaine.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
okay.
he just scared him to death.
Because he thinks he's going to get his head cut off when he gets home or something.
He don't know what's going to happen, but he don't
okay.
like it. So he's screaming, "You're going to pay for all this. You're going to pay for it." And I made a little thing, and so anyway, he wouldn't give me the paper. I said, "Well, here's what's lost. Here's the ones that's half full. Here's the one." And he took it and kept it. I said, "Give it back to me. I don't want that in my handwriting and yours."
Yeah.
No. So I just knocked the hell out of him.
Oh, good. Well done. Jesus
So anyway,
Christ.
he jumped up, and he he wouldn't fight. He just grabbed me.
Yeah.
Heck, I couldn't get loose from him. And Joel's a great big football player. And after a minute, I said, "I'm tired of you just hugging me. Turn me loose and let's fight."
Yeah.
So Joel broke us loose, and anyhow, I knocked him down several times. And he just kept running. I said, "Joel, stop him. He's going to be beat up so bad he can't go to town." So he didn't like it. So we went on, and he told me that the person that was meeting us with Fernando had just gotten out of jail, had just gotten out of a big 5-ton bust in California. I said, "What? Yes, they let him go." I said, "You know why they let him go? He's a snitch. You don't get out of a 5-ton deal in California and meet me in Australia."
Mm.
And then I had a vision. Laying on my bed, on my bunk at night, and it wasn't a dream, and it was just exactly like it was real. There was somebody on my back with his knee in my back, and I'm handcuffed, and I'm laying in the shallow water, like in sand, and I got my head up like this, and I'm just I woke up and the tears were just coming down my face. I said, "Poor Maury, poor Maury." I knew our life was over, that something bad was going to happen. So I went up there and turned that boat and went 500 miles from where I was supposed to go. And it happened just exactly like I saw it in the vision.
Really?
Yes, I remember the vision more than I do what happened. So anyway, we got about 5 miles off, and I had two 20-foot Zodiacs, and I put them in the water and put 500 kilos in each boat and had motors on it. And I said, "Let's go, Carlos." No matter how. What, you can't drive? You can't drive a little boat? No. I said, "We've been 3 months and you haven't told me this?" I mean, an idiot. Absolutely an idiot.
Bro, this guy
It took me an hour to put, because you can't just put it on the painter, it'll pull out.
This guy sounds like he's got mayonnaise for brains.
If that.
Yeah, that's being generous
So
to
it
mayonnaise.
gets worse. It gets worse now.
Okay, I'm listening.
So I hooked the two boats together, and we go ashore, and there was a send, what they call it, where the waves go up about 4 feet, and they just stay there. Delvuron Bay, West Australia, about just above Geraldton, a couple of them. It's in a place called Sharks Bay. So it was raining and dark. We couldn't see where we was going. I didn't have nobody to meet me, nothing. I just picked out the most deserted place I could find to unload this stuff. So we got in there, and we got ashore, and I thought, thank God, and I about kissed that Australian shore. And I tied to one of the boats, and it popped and busted. I'm trying to get the cocaine out of it, and this idiot gets a flashlight and runs, said, "Go get Joel, go get Joel." And he goes up and sits on a rock with that flashlight on all night long. And I'm toting the cocaine up and putting it up high enough till the tide, and it's coming in. And I have sandals on, and one of them comes off, and it takes the skin off of my feet. I had to have new skin put on it later on. And it's bleeding. And that fool sitting up there said, "Go get Joel." So when I got ready to go get Joel, he's out several miles out with the ship, and so one of the Zodiacs is busted upside the rocks where I tied it, and the other one has gotten loose. and it must have been out there 100 yards or something. So I struck out. I'm a pretty good swimmer, but that thing was drifting away with the wind just as fast as I was going. Now I'm in Shark's Bay, dangling a bloody foot, and a fin cut around me, about that high up out of the water. And I just pulled my foot up. I said, God, just don't let it be now. Don't let me my life end like this. And I mean, I was scared, like you might call terrified. I didn't want to stir the water, and I was doing my hands like that to stay.
Wait, Roger, was this in Western Australia?
Yes.
So, like, you know, they've got the worst great white sharks on earth.
I know.
Like they, and
if anybody gets one cut around in the dark night, and they don't come slow. They go come right by, and then he come by closer.
Imagine if one of them came up like all coked up because it had snorted some of your accidental coke water and it started.
Yeah, I was worried more about my bloody foot.
So you got to deal with a cocaine shark.
The second time he come around, he blew. It was a dolphin.
Oh, really?
I busted out almost laughing. I took off swimming. I was like one of them toads that can walk on the water. I got to the boat so quick I almost flipped over it. So I went out to the boat, took a shower, and put it and put on some dry clothes.
How was your foot? Could you walk?
Yeah, it was bloody, but I mean it was ruined. I mean but you can walk with something like that. It wasn't even hurting, I don't reckon. So we got in the. Got back in the Zodiac, and it was tied to a ladder there, and it was right on the wave where the bow was going. Now, that thing is going, I cut a hole, 12 feet long down the side, just above the water line. I reversed all the pumps in it so it would sink. So we got in our little Zodiac, the big one, 20 foot, and I couldn't untie it. So I took my knife and cut the line, and when it did, it stopped so quick, I tumbled out in the water. So I'm gonna be saltwater where I like it or not.
You can make a movie about this entire chapter, just so you know. I would watch it every day.
So then me and Joel went back out, and Fool's still sitting up on the rock with his flashlight. And so we had some. I brought some old blankets, and we put some trash over it. It was kind of in the indent where I put all that, and we was ready to go. It got daylight, and Joel said, "I hear voices." I did see some trucks look like going up and down like that. Of course, that was the federal police coming, but you don't know. You can't abandon something just because you see some lights. And so it got daylight. It was raining. We got up, and it don't ever hardly rain. I think they get 2 inches a year up there or something. And we was under a lee of a rock, and we was watching people catch fish. And there was 3 or 4 of them, and they was catching the most fish I've ever seen. They looked like we're catching big perch, that big, maybe 20 pounds, and they were pulling them up 100 or 50-foot bluff or cliff with fishing lines. I didn't know what when they take a anchor and throw it out, and it got a little cable, and then they put their hook through that, and over this on another cable is some claws like that, and when they catch a fish, they drop this down the line, and it goes over the fish's muzzle and licks into him. Then they just pull him right back up. It's not with a line. So I didn't know that. I thought, how in the world are those people pulling 20-foot cliff up that cliff? Anyhow, we thought, well, when they leave or when they go, we can start walking down the dirt road to town. And then it was down, 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 you sons of bitches. They just rose up. That TRG is doing black boys. You know, all the shag was all over them. They was all around us.
Oh, like they were camouflaged and everything?
Yeah, they was camouflaged good, baby.
Really?
And one of them hit me right in the head and knocked the whole top of my scalp off with a rifle. I slammed me down on the ground. I laid down. He grabbed me by my balls. You got anything sharp? Then they come, is anybody in the boat? I said, yeah, there's 12 more crew members out there. The boat was going down. I knew it had.
Yeah, that's right. Well done.
So I got arrested. It took us all day long, and took us to prison. I think it was the Hakia prison, and took the 2 Colombians. They arrested the Colombians, the snitch, Fernando, and all of them.
I was about to say the one that got caught in California was he. He was
with them, and he was with the brother of the owner, Fernando.
Yeah.
And they all crazy.
Yeah.
Ain't no lie about it. They ain't got good sense to have a snitch like that just got a 5-ton deal.
Yeah.
And so this Carlos, when he got arrested, he's told everybody that I was an informant. And so that just stuck with me my whole 18 years there. People wouldn't believe it. I got his paperwork. It says he got life with a minimum of 20 years. And the judge says he didn't give him some more because he said that, okay, I said that I was just driving the boat. I didn't know anything. I knew it's cocaine.
Yeah.
I was driving it from one place in the ocean to the other. I knew nothing on either end. He said he was the boss.
Really?
Yeah, but he told on everybody.
Is this the one with the flashlight?
Yes, he told.
Is he still arrested? Is he still? What's he?
He got out and went back to Colombia. But it's his. I could show it to anybody. His remorse. The judge said his remorse was complete. He continues to work with the police while he's in prison, because he's a Colombian. Oh, they want a good contact in Colombia, so they kiss his ass.
Yeah, right.
And when the other one, the unloader. Well, let me just tell you a little further. When they found out who I was and I'd escaped from 5 prisons, they come and arrested me when I was having supper at Hakia prison.
Yep.
And they put me in something looked like a Brinks truck, one of those. And they took me across town.
In Western Australia?
Western Australia, and put me
Right.
backed up into Casuarina prison and back through 13 gates, beep, 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 and with a helicopter hanging overhead with a 50 caliber.
Really?
And they put me in a place that looked like the Silence of the Lambs. It's called the Shoe.
Oh man, that sucks.
And there I was for a year. But I would get out. Mari came down to see me, and there was a woman, and I had a guard sitting on the desk with me because I was a shoe prisoner. I had 2 of them. 2 of them stay with me the whole time. And she was across the way, and her name was Lisa. And so she met Mari outside the prison. They walked up down the roses, and she said, "Mari, tell Roger to get to the dental office next Wednesday in the morning at 10 o'clock. I have helicopter coming." Mari told me that. I said, "Mari, she's working with the federal police. The snitch didn't have money. They had money, but they didn't have a credit card. So the snitch told Fernando, I know a woman that can get us his credit card." So they go to this woman, and she gives them a credit card for $10,000 so they can rent a caravan. Now then the snitch goes out every day. They go by the water waiting on me, and he goes running every day, and he has a tape, and he gives it to a federal policeman. The federal policeman gives him an empty one, and they got every word they talk about for about 40 days waiting on me coming.
Really?
Yeah, so anyway, so she's the one that gave them the credit card to rent the caravan.
Right.
And so in the transcripts, Fernando says to him, "Oh, that chica you introduced me to is going to be very good." So she tells Mari that we have a helicopter coming. Well, there's no way you saw the Silence of the Lambs. It's exactly like that. I can't move.
Yeah.
So I tell Mari, I said, "She's working with the federal police. Just shine her on.
Yeah.
Just be nice to her." She said, 2 little girls, more than Mari to eat. So we shine Lisa on. So I stayed in the Shoe a year, and I came out, and I had a little trouble because I'm supposed to be the informant. Well, I got it down somewhat. And Mari comes and visits me, and they arrest Mari. They kick her door down at 5 o'clock in the morning, the federal police do.
Why? Okay.
And they go through all her stuff. They take her clothes and her day book and everything she's got. And they charge her, she had $11,000 US. They charge her for Customs Act, bringing the money, whatever it is.
It's like $1,000 over the limit. It's not even.
Nothing. So she went to the judge. She's handcuffed and has to go before a judge. Pays for the lawyer. They take the money, and he says, "Why didn't you?" It says very clearly, "Do you have over $10,000 in Australian money?" I had none. I had American money. I had a U.S. dollar.
Yeah.
Anyhow, now she's a felon and she can't visit me.
Oh, that's not fair. That's shit.
Finally, she got where she could come, but it was she has to go to the police station every day and change in. She comes in there all smiles, and when they find out she's a felon, they have to come for report. So anyway, this is how I was treated.
Because she had money on her.
Now then, I told the fellow that was on the boat, that he didn't know it was cocaine, and I testified, and they took him through 3 trials. The first one, they had a hung jury. He knows he's on the boat. I said, when the cocaine come, he couldn't swim 1,000 miles.
Yeah.
So he's stuck. I said, he just read cowboy books and he wouldn't do anything. Well, they said, if you say that, we're going to raise your sentence to life. I didn't believe it. Oh, I didn't think about it much. So they took him through the second trial, and he's winning. Even some of the jurymen are putting their thumbs up. And after the 3 or 4 days of trial, one of the jurors come in with a stack of papers stapled together, and he gives them to each of the other 11 jurors. And he said, Your Honor, I hope you don't mind. I just copied this off of the internet about Mr. Parrish. Well, bring that up here, juror. Did you? Yes, I gave it to all the mistrial. So that trial's over. Now they have to wait 6, 7 months for another trial, and he wins hand down, and he goes home. And they appeal my sentence because I said that he didn't know. And they raised me to life in prison.
No.
Yes.
Really?
Yes. I reckon I'm the only person I ever heard of that got life, that pled guilty fast track and told them how sorry I was.
Jesus
Christ.
And
Mari's a felon, she can't visit.
Yeah.
So we had it messed. And now then, my mother comes over to see me. I'm just telling you how corrupt and how these federal police.
Oh, yeah, no, believe me, we've had...
So, and prosecutors.
Yeah.
So my mother and my sister's coming over to visit me. And 2 days before they come, this Lisa calls Mari on a phone that probably only got from the prison where I'm calling her. Mari, it's Lisa, remember me? Yes, Lisa, I have 2 helicopters coming now. Fernando is in Hakea and Roger's in Casuarina. I have 2 helicopters coming. Can you get this message? Have Roger call me on cell phone. Mm-hmm. Oh, and she put her number down. Of course, I'm not about to call her.
Yeah.
But it pissed me off. So I went to the superintendent of prison, and I says, Mr. Superintendent, I want you to tell that fucking prosecutor to leave my family alone. I don't want his helicopters.
What? I don't,
okay, they want because they want something on me and Joel, so when they go to trial that 3rd time, they will have something he's trying to escape. So it was an entrapment. Anyway, I told people what I had done. And later on, when I'm fixing to go home, it starts, Roger prevented a helicopter. He put them all in. He did everything bad. He prevented a helicopter escape. Now then, this Colombian Fernando has married the mole. And he's saying, oh, she was a maid in my mother's house. I knew her. He's a liar.
Right.
Full-on liar. So he's still in there.
Right.
So he's married Lisa, and she's milking the family wherever she is, and she's working for the Federal Police of Australia. Guarantee it.
Hang on, so there's a guy in jail right now who's married
to the snitch.
He doesn't know that?
He won't believe it. He says, "Oh no, she looked after my mother for years. We've known knowing her." He's just a liar.
Right.
And that caused me to lose my teeth. I left them in the guy's neck.
What do you mean?
Well, he's calling me a dog and this and another, and
Yeah.
he's a young 35-year-old strong fella, and we get into it.
Yeah.
And he gets over me, and he's about to bring my guts out. And he's one of them with his head shaved and the hair going this way. And you've seen people that sing and their big vein sticks out like that. Well,
Yeah.
his was stinging out, and he's screaming. And I pull it over, and I get a mouthful like a bulldog. And when
Yeah.
I come, I lose all 4 of those teeth.
Really?
I left them in his neck.
Can I tell you something to back that story up for you as well? I've seen what you looked like in prison in the 2000s. You had you had a build on you, man. You're big. You still do, for people that don't know, you still do your push-ups every day?
Once, a couple of times a week, I still do them.
But
and I climb a
you-
mountain behind the house 4,000 feet up.
You had some big size on you
Yes,
back then as well.
I've gained weights now, so it doesn't show, but I still have it.
So have I since I've been in, to be honest. So, okay, hang on. But so, did he get a life sentence as well?
Yes, he pled guilty, even though he's got the snitch that's in the motorhome with him for months,
Yeah.
and he's married now to the informant that give him the credit card. He ain't got a chance.
I was going to say that's probably why he's in there for life, right?
Pardon?
Well, he's probably not going to get out because of
Yeah,
that.
he got to do 26 years.
Yeah.
So he gets out probably next year or 2 more years.
And what do you think is going to happen when he gets out if he's married to this informant?
He's married to her. He don't know it, or he doesn't care. I don't know.
It's the most weird thing I've ever heard.
I mean, it's insane.
It is insane.
Then they calling me the snitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, when you get something like that, and I could stop it, but if I stop it, I'm not going home tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's one or the other.
Yeah.
Because it's real easy to knock somebody in the head. Ain't no problem at all.
Yeah.
I'm not brave to get me a rock and finish it. I'd be like David and Goliath. It don't matter.
But it's almost like, yeah, that would feel good, but it wouldn't feel as good as being home.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so this guy's in there with his snitch. How did you? Because obviously you didn't break out this time. How did you manage to get out of what was supposed to be a life sentence?
Well, in Australia, when they give you a life sentence, they give you a minimum term that you can go before you apply for parole.
Correct.
So I had 25 years with a minimum of 14, and the Crown appealed my sentence while I was in the shoe, and they raised it. And it was so orchestrated and corrupt and vomiting ugly.
Yeah.
I went through three appeal judges, and that guy's sitting up there paring his nails. And every time my lawyer says, "You got anything else, Miss Fisher?" We've already heard that. And the prosecutor said something. He said, "Amen, brother. Bring it on. Amen." It was just like he was saying that.
Yeah.
And he wasn't even listening to nothing. He already knew what he was going to do. He's already talked to the prosecutor. And the first old judge I had, Warwick, he was all right. And he'd have took me home, I could sure. He was all right.
Yeah.
But this other one was a devil. And so they raised me to life at 18. And they would have given me more, I reckon, if the other two hadn't have backed off a little. So what was I saying? So I was in there, and that's when I got life. And they raised me to life, and I'd do 18 years before I can apply. And I'm telling you, I think I'm strong-minded. I know I am compared.
Oh, I know that you are as well.
That knocked the knees out from under me. A life? And when you come up 18 years, you may not get it. I still got trouble elsewhere. I said, I may never get home. So I said, I got little children that don't know me, my little boy, 6, 7 years old, my daughter, and grandchildren.
That must have been hard for you.
I said, they never going to know me. And I said, I would like to tell them some stories about my life on the farm. And there was a computer in there, and I'd never seen one.
Yeah.
And so I got a guard to help me turn it on. It was in a little glassed-in room.
Oh, because you'd never seen a computer?
I don't think it was any come out hardly then.
Oh, true.
Brand new, yeah.
This is what, 2000 or?
2000, uh-huh.
Wow.
They might have been, but I didn't. I know, maybe I'd seen a computer, but I certainly not even thought about one. So I can type, and so I would lay on my bunk, and I say, oh, well, my grandma, I tricked her into, she didn't like my mama, and tricked her into buying me a pony, Let me tell that story. So the next day I'd get that thing on, and it didn't have a program. So you could write in one line called paintbrush, and no correction, nothing.
Yeah.
So I write the story about the pony, and then the next day I'll tell something else. And so I got started typing. And sometimes the tears would come down my face as I was remembering things and people long ago. And you're doing life now. You got time.
Yeah.
And I wrote 1,300,000 words in one line. And so when I got out of that place, they kept me in the shoe for a year. They sent me out. And I think in about 6 months, I got into self-care, and they let me buy a computer. And I got a big one. And they give me my writings on a disc, three disc. And it took me a year, I guess, to figure it out and edit it and straighten it. And I cut out everything that I didn't think people, about great grandpa and this other and grandpa, what they did. Yeah. I cut all that out, just what I did. And I tell Mari, they say you have an imaginary reader. And so I said she was on every page. So that was a book, and I couldn't get it out. They wouldn't let me send one page of it out.
So you're thinking of your wife every time you would write a chapter in this book?
You're writing to her, you see.
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
She's going to be my reader. I know she's going to be my reader, and she's a hard taskmaster, I'm telling you. So there was a fella in there, and he was a skydiver, and he had a little telephone about that big. He'd paid $3,000 for it. He said, tell her to get an email address. What's that? Just tell her to get an email address. So then she got one. And he put a little wire to the back of my computer she had it just like that. And so she published it with Amazon, just exactly word for word. She had people, some try to see if we can't. I said, no, it don't sound like me. So it's just like it was written in a prison cell, in a cage. So that's how my book, The Smuggler, came out.
Right, and what year was that?
2021.
And that's
2020. I'm sorry.
Right, and is that still on Amazon for sale now?
Well, she published it in 2017. Yes, she's still available. It's one of the better sellers.
I can imagine why. And so How? Because like, if you've got 18 to life, obviously that's gonna fuck with your head. How did you like? At what point did you get released and sent back home to America?
Well, when my time was coming up, I had a farm next door to Jimmy Carter for years. So I wrote him a letter. Hello, Jimmy, it's Roger here. So.
For people that don't know, that's the ex-president.
President of the United States. A really nice fellow. He was probably the only good president we've ever had.
Was
in
he
my
the president at the time?
No, he was.
No,
he
okay.
was out of it.
How did you know the president? Probably a long story, but just the short version of how did you know Jimmy Carter? You just through your travels, or
Well, I knew him a long time. We was boys back together. He was older.
Jesus Christ.
And
Okay.
his brother, I know his brother, and I know his son.
So you write to the former president of the United States.
I said, Jimmy, I'm down here doing a lot,
Yep.
and I'm in here for a nonviolent drug offense,
Yep.
and I'd appreciate if you would say something good for me.
Can I say I love it when you call it a non-violent drug offense, because that fucking pisses me off, because I know people that wouldn't hurt a fly that are in for drug offenses. And, some of the most horrible people I know that are in for violent offenses should be in there and would hurt people. And I know so many good people who were in there who had a fucking plant and they go into jail. So when you say non-violent drug offenders, I think that hits home, and it probably hit home in your letter as well.
Good Lord, don't you know it? So, but anyway, and think about the politicians and what they done. We just finding out in every country in the world, it's corrupt beyond belief, vomiting corrupt.
Believe me,
And
I
they
know.
are murderers. They do anything in the world for money.
Well, yeah.
And destroying our country. Down in Africa, it's worse there.
Yep.
But it's just terrible. But I go on and say, so President Carter wrote a letter, said to Attorney General of Australia, I'd appreciate it if you consider my friend and neighbor Roger Reeves for parole.
No.
I certainly did.
You had the ex-president of the United States of America write a letter to our Attorney General to ask for a favor to get you home.
Yes.
Did it work?
Yeah. The day on day 6, on that day they put me on the plane home.
Wow.
It's unheard of. Usually say come back in a year, come back in 5 years when you're serving life.
Wasn't like a prisoner swap. You were just allowed to come back
Just
to
let
America.
me come home.
Jesus Christ. Did you thank Jimmy Carter for that?
I certainly did. Yes.
I would have got him tattooed on my back, to be honest, if he did that for me. I would have got a shrine to him in the family home, a little photo on the wall.
Absolutely. Fine Christian man, yes.
That is
Yes.
unbelievable.
So when I came home, they put 3 Australian marshals with me on the plane. And I had a nice flight. Landed in Los Angeles, and I was laughing and talking. It was 6 people from the immigration department. Slammed me into a wall. I mean, slammed me. Put so much hardware on me, kicked my legs apart. One little woman said, face forward, kicked my feet so hard. I said, woman, if I had a bulldog as ugly as you, I'd shave his ass and teach him to walk backwards. So that was how bad. They took me across the way, and U.S. Marshals, they didn't take me 50 feet. They just made their scene. And the 2 U.S. Marshals in there took all the hardware off and put one handcuff on me, and that was it.
Was it like one of those meetings in the movie where you've got this country on this side, that one on that side, and they come and they meet in the middle?
No, they just went to L.A. airport on a big plane with the three marshals.
Okay.
So they put me in isolation in Terminal Island. No, it wasn't Terminal Island. Metropolitan Detention Center. I'd cut a hole in that wall in 1990. And so I bragged about it.
Oh, so they put you back in the metro when you got to LA?
L.A.,
Right.
In solitary. But anyhow, after about a week, I wondered, why am I in solitary? I ain't done nothing. I was in open prison in Australia. I haven't done anything in America. Why am I not on? So a guy opened his up and he said, I'm Assistant Superintendent Short. And says, we saw your National Geographic documentary.
Oh, really? I haven't even seen that myself.
It's called Australia's Hardest Prison.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
They came and did one on me, and I got a little bit of something bad on that just in a minute. But anyhow,
Yep.
He said, we saw you, and he said, it does me pleasure to keep you in isolation. I was in isolation there for 1 year.
What, in MDC in Los
Not
Angeles?
Not even a charge, never nothing.
Why? What was the reason? Just to fuck with you?
Absolutely.
Who did
And
you...
Murray paid a lawyer $7,500 named Cannon.
Yeah.
He never made one phone call
He was from LA, I bet.
from San Francisco.
Now, why does that not surprise me?
What a
I've sat at tables with some of these scumbags, and I was literally telling Mari out there before they sit there chewing their gum and looking me up and down. I was telling you, remember, they look at your watch, look at your shoes, and they're sizing up like a predator.
Yeah.
I'm like, you fucking got to get up earlier in the morning to do that. So it sounds like, yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, man. So they just put you in there for a year for no reason.
No, none whatsoever. They said, I suppose parole violation, but I never saw a piece of paper about it. Nothing.
What?
And after a year, they sent me down to Terminal Island and put me again in isolation.
Right.
And and when the COVID hit, I wouldn't even come outside.
Oh, you were in there during COVID as well?
Yes. And 8 people died in there with me. And more people in Terminal Island
from
died.
COVID. Oh, shit. And that would have been tough for you, too, because...
It didn't bother me. I was listening to the radio, them all dying, and I'm standing there, and they just send the stuff in. And when they'd open that little door with little rice and beans, I'd yell, "Dead men walking out there, dead men walking."
No, I'm just thinking because, like, because you'd already done such a long stint and you'd been in solitary and you were getting a little bit older, it's kind of like you had all those risk factors of, like, you couldn't get your immune system up, probably couldn't train properly, and... I don't know, we worried that I
Still
was
did my
gonna...
push-up,
Yeah,
and I
okay,
washed
awesome.
them, got naked and washed them with my sock. They had a little tiny thing you push, and I put a straw in it so it have a little fountain.
Right.
And I'd wash, I'd shampoo.
Did they make you take the vaccine in there?
Pardon?
Did they make
no,
you
they
take
didn't take the vaccine, nothing.
Did you duck it? Did you have to take it? Or?
Nothing. So
Yeah.
anyway, after a year, they just opened the door, and they came all wrapped up, and you could only see their eyes, and they let me out, and I went home.
What did they tell you why they were letting you out?
They didn't say a word to me, and I have a little joke here I can tell.
Yeah, heck on.
So I come home, and I was early. Mari wasn't expecting me.
Yep.
And so I came in, and the door was open. I came in, there's a rough-looking fellow laying on the couch, about half naked.
Yeah.
And look him over. And I went on back to the back room. There she was. And well, how'd you get here? And I said, who's that fellow right there? She said, well, Roger, you left here, and we didn't have any money for rent. We didn't have no money for groceries, and he's looked after us all these years.
Yeah.
And I said, give me a blanket. Let's cover him up. He might catch a cold.
Jesus Christ.
That's a big lie.
Well,
the truth was I came home,
good.
and Mari was there, and like she said, we were nervous.
Oh,
After
I
20
remember
years.
this.
19 years.
Do you know what this is? This is full
Hadn't
circle.
touched each other in all these years, and of course we had an embrace, but strange. It was strange. I mean, to touch somebody was strange. And I went into the bathroom and took those prison clothes off and put them in the trash, and I got in that shower, and I showered and shaved and showered again, and went into, she had a small condominium now. Our house is gone. And in the closet, all my clothes from 40 years ago was hanging, everything starched and ironed and
Really?
just there. And there's my shoes, and she'd polished them to shining.
Oh,
And I put those
man.
clothes on, and they just felt so good. I felt like I had silk underwear on. And put them on, and I just smiled. And I put the shoes on and tied them, and I took a step, and the shoes came apart, and I left the soles on the floor. And I just laughed. Rip Van Winkle had woke up from the dead. So I went in there, sat at the table, and I just cried. I couldn't stop crying. I didn't want to cry. I wasn't sad. But she wanted to show me pictures, and I just couldn't. I would just choke. There she was when she's 40. There she was 50. There's 60. There's 70. And I wasn't there. I was in and out of prisons and all that. Pictures of the children. The old oak table was the same that I'd cleaned and varnished and stripped 60 years ago. The chairs were the same. The placemats were the same dishes, the same silverware. The paintings on the wall were the same thing from her mother and father and all that. I just couldn't quit crying.
Yeah.
I just couldn't. I just tears coming. I thought, what in the world? I'm not a pussy. Just wake up here.
Yeah.
It took me about 3 days before I like her. I just said, all right, man up. You've got to do this. And
Do you know what's so funny that you say that? And this is why I think you and your wife have so much in common. What you just said, I don't know if you noticed, but you know, where you said, okay, it's time to man up and do this. It's the exact same thing as what she said when you went away in America.
yeah,
3 days of crying. She said, I've just got to pull up my bootstraps and get on with it. And then you come full circle, you come home, you go through the same emotions, and then you just say, I've just got to pull myself back up and get on with it. And man, look at you now. You guys are traveling all around the country, loving life. You got grandchildren. Like, I'm sure that you were sitting in there with that life sentence at some point, thinking, that was never going to happen ever. You would never get to see them, touch them. You probably thought you were going to die there.
Most likely I would have died there.
And now,
I think that I would have. And through my 60s, I ran. I ran through the full 18 years, but I like to run and I like to do chin-ups and push-ups.
Yeah.
And through my 60s, my heart would go into fibrillation, sometimes 300 times a minute. And I was trying to get parole, and I was going up there to see a doctor, and he said, no, it's just fibrillation. He said, act like you're picking up a stunt real tight, and it'll pop out. So I did, and I ran through that heart problem that I had, and I came out of there 82 years old. I don't take any medicine, not sick, and never sick. So,
but if I was blind, I would think that you guys were like in your early 50s. To be honest, I'd be thinking I was talking to a bunch of young retirees. Like, I genuinely, you guys have got the best charisma and energy.
Thank you.
And it's been such a pleasure to hang out with you guys. Did you ever watch that movie, Blow? Did you watch it?
That was the most correct, true to life movie in the drug business I've ever seen.
Because
that's right on.
Yeah, and I think I know why, because that ending is very hard to watch with his daughter. That's tough.
Yeah.
And when you were telling that story, it brings back that scene, because it's such a hard scene to watch, especially if you've got a baby or a child, to kind of see that emotional impact that it has on someone. I think that's the hardest part. And I think of everything that I've heard you tell, the most difficult part to hear is that missing that time with your kids and coming back to reunite with them,
Yeah.
And man, honest, like that was 1 hour and 6 minutes. That was going to be an audience Q&A. I'm going to rename this episode. I'm going to rename the entire episode. It's going to be something like Roger's Australian cocaine story, because A, I don't think it's been told. B, we just blasted through that, no questions, no interruptions. That is hands down, one of the most captivating stories I've ever told. I've never heard it been told before. And look, man, I know it's tough to come back and reunite and see what you missed. But on the bright side, now look at what you got to look forward to,
Oh,
you got so
absolutely.
many years of watching these kids grow up, and you're going to have more grandkids. And, I bet you never thought you'd be here with your beautiful wife talking to some idiot like me. And
we have been wonderderfly blessed.
You have been blessed.
Daily we are.
I think we've all been blessed. And listen, these audience members have been blessed too. This has been I don't even know. I'm speechless for this one. Thank you again. And when I'm back, we're gonna have to do another one.
Well, I'll be happy to.
Thank you, Roger. You're a good man.